Appalachian.
This is mostly for shits and giggles, and I hope if he sees it, he doesn't come at me too hard.
I promise I'm not going to be hard on you. I've been poking this bear for a while.
He had a video that I just watched, and he started it off with people who say word are about to be pissed off because they're saying it incorrectly. Is that right?
But was I wrong? Because here we are.
I have a friend named Anastasia. I have seen that exact same name, and their name was Anastasia.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. Not quite sure that's a one-to-one, but we'll go with it.
Milan, Italy. In Tennessee, it's Milan.
Ah!
It's Milan, Tennessee, not Milan. It's pronounced Milan.
Make it stop! Oh, I just feel like I was subjected to a Knights Who Say Knee assault. I don't have a shrubbery for you, I'm sorry.
Those are the proper names. They're proper names, so that's how it's pronounced. I have sat across from my uncle for so many years, listening to him order his Italian dressing.
Alright, that's just somebody who can't take the southern out of their mouth. In no world is Italian proper. That's just dialect. But anyway, go on.
I can assure you that the people that live and are from Appalachians don't pronounce it Appalachian. It's Appalachian.
Alright, hold up now. You know that the Appalachians go up to like Canada, right? A third of the Appalachians are north of the Mason-Dixon line. And since New England tends to be a lot more densely populated than, you know, West Virginia and Tennessee and North Carolina and so on and so forth, I'm pretty confident in assuming, and I haven't double checked, but I'm gonna guess that close to, if not more, people from the Appalachians pronounce it Appalachian. I also want to point out that the way you're pronouncing it is also different than the way that most of the other people I've heard pronounce it from your region. You're saying, or at least it sounds like to me, Appalachian. You're still getting that SH sound in there. But usually in that region, it's pronounced with the hard CH, Appalachian. You know, you pronounce it Appalachia, I'll throw an apple at ya. A full disclaimer, I went to college in Bristol, Tennessee. Technically Bristol, Virginia, but you know, same town. Obviously, it didn't take long for me to see how riled up people would get it when I pronounced it the way that it's actually written. And I always found it entertaining. Here in Minnesota, we've got all kinds of shit that if you're not from here, you've got no idea how to pronounce. But I've never seen anybody get so bent out of shape about the mispronunciation of a town or a region. So I know when I make these videos and I have to mention that mountain range, I just address it right out of the gate because I know people are going to talk about it anyway, and it gets people engaged immediately because people got real strong opinions on this one both ways. And then they run to the comments and it helps the algorithm, and it's fun ribbing that everybody can kind of get in on. Now, technically, both pronunciations are correct. Dictionaries and everything contain both pronunciations. If you want to argue either one's correct, you're right. My perspective always came from the fact that if you presented this word to anybody who reads English and they'd never heard anything about it before, phonetically they would pronounce it Appalachian. Or I could concede to Appalachian. That's really where the precedent lies. Pretty much every other word I can think of that has the CHI in it makes the K sound. Psychiatry, brachial, Chianti. But nobody's arguing that it's Appalachian, so I guess we can leave that one out. Ooh, or maybe that's how I should start saying it and piss everybody off. But to give credence to the Appalachia crowd, the Appalachians are named after the Appalachee tribe from the Florida Panhandle, which never really made sense to me since the mountain range doesn't make it down that far. But I guess in theory, a member of the Appalachee tribe could be called an Appalachian. I don't think the tribe exists anymore, and I couldn't verify it on the internet, but, you know, just assuming, you know, Minnesotan, Tennessean, American, Appalachian. But in theory, then, you'd either just add an E to the end, making it Appalachian, or drop an E and change it with an N and make it Appalachian. Still wouldn't be spelled with the C-H-I-N at the end of it. All that said, I will concede that I came into this hoping for some really hard evidence that answered the question definitively, something I'm normally really good at finding. And unfortunately, that does not seem to be the case here because every authority on language and phonetics acknowledges both pronunciations as correct. So that leaves every argument over proper pronunciation coming down to the authority of culture and geography. And since the people who live there geographically pronounce it differently depending on where they are in the mountain range, and culturally it gets complicated because it's technically none of our culture, and it was appropriated from a tribe that didn't live there, and the numerous tribes that did live there before European settlers named it the Appalachians had 3 or 4 different names for the mountain range, none of which I'm going to try to pronounce for you because I will butcher all of them. So while I will probably continue to rib on the pronunciation in the name of good fun, I will officially admit that Appalachia is correct. And I am also correct. And I appreciate your response video, and I appreciate you and everybody else watching and being a fan. Love y'all.